Hello again, everybody. So, as you can probably tell behind me, I am in Ningbo. They are the sister city to Nottingham, hence the Robin Hood statue in my Holbein, or in the just behind me. So at the moment, I'm just walking through a place which they call the Wenhua Zhongxin, which is basically the cultural centre. So you've got to excuse the bit of background noise. They have quite a bit of work going on here, and one thing you'll find if you do actually come over to Ningbo is that the rate of development in this place is just phenomenal. Everywhere you look there are cranes, there is construction going on. It is such a vibrant city, and its trajectory over the next even 2 or 3 years is phenomenal. So we're really quite fortunate to be able to work with such a city, especially with their sister school programs. There's been a lot of I suppose delegation backwards and forwards between Nottingham and Ningbo. Really good foundations laid at a high level, but as with many of these sister city relationships, it takes a while for the next stage, or the more detailed stage, to actually take effect, which is where I suppose that's where we've come in. We do a lot of work with developing the sister city relationships into a really more proactive partnership. The way that we take to the stage, basically from the ground up. So when it comes to developing the understanding of the two cities and two cultures, we basically work from the schools, students, universities up. I've just got to take a second to enjoy this absolutely beautiful evening sun. You know, some of these cities in China are just phenomenal. There's a real beautiful mix of culture, you know, ancient towns, ancient cities, you know, especially in the south where we are, there's a lot of water and mountains, but you know, the modern landscapes are developing so quickly, it's just staggering. So anyway, so yeah, working from the real base level of getting the two countries' cultures and the people communicating, and you know, at a number of different generational levels, understanding each other better. And it actually comes from the China side. So we work at government level, so working within the sister cities, we represent UK government going over to China to set up these programs. We support businesses, and we support, as I say, schools and councils and universities setting up partnerships with China. Now, in the initial stages of setting up these sister city partnerships, there's a lot of interest from the local government towards, I say, developing education, because they really play a long game. It's not so much about the immediate impact in China. They're always investing in the future. They always spend a bit more time, and as you can see, there's kids behind playing on these outdoor seesaws. But they always spend more time investing in the future, because they don't play a short-term game. They've not become the number 2 economy. They've not become the fastest developing nation on this planet by looking at what's happening just around the corner, what's happening tomorrow, what's happening in a year's time. They spend a hell of a lot of time planning 5, 10, 15 years ahead, putting aside the budgets, the plans, the human resource to make it happen. And they're fortunate because they have the human resource. It's only really been in the past 10, 20 years where they've really managed to get their act together to coordinate, and actually it's really based on their international awareness and looking towards partnerships to be able to work with experts. So they've gone all around the world and they've found, okay, well, you know, in Holland, their understanding of what waterworks is second to none. They've gone to America to look at a lot of science tech. They've come to the UK and again America for the education, the education skill and the history and the tradition, and they brought that back. They've part of a larger plan they've really established a foundation based upon the skill sets and the experiences that other countries have built up over many years. And it's really kind of cool how they've managed to take the best bits from other systems, bring them back to China, and not 100% copy it, but make it their own. I really think we have, especially in the West, have a lot to learn from that attitude. It's not about going to other countries all around the world and telling other people how they should run their country or how they should run their society, or telling them actually what you're doing is wrong. Because although we are all people, we all have our own individual characteristics, and it's the same with all cultures. What I think China's doing really well at the moment, this is why they're building such a large network of friends around the world, is basically because they are going out into the global community and say, listen, we want to work with you, we want to set up partnerships, we want to lay these foundations, we want to work with you on your terms, but also our terms, in the true sense of partnership, rather than what potentially we might have done in the past, especially in the UK. So we'll go to a delegation, we'll come over to China, for example, and say, look, this is how it should be done. We want to talk to you in English, we want to use English law, we want to use the Western way of negotiating, we want to agree everything up front and then put a solid plan, get contracts and agreements, plan things, and lock people down into a long-term agreement. Well, actually, it doesn't work like that. And China's a really cool saying. It's basically that change happens quicker than so change happens quicker than planning. So by the time you finish the plan, the situation would have developed so quickly that it already surpassed the original agreement or the original plan. So one of the things that we really need to concentrate on in the West, especially the UK, is actually understanding that China's in a position now where it doesn't need anybody, and doesn't rely overly heavy on one party or another. They're in a position now where they can say, listen, I want to work with you, but it's got to be a true partnership, so you've got to meet me halfway. I'll do 50% your way, we'll do 50% my way, and together we'll create this new way of doing things. But we're so slow on the uptake, it's incredible. I can't believe how long it takes sometimes for people to upskill themselves in language, in cultural understanding, and especially in business. A really important element is, are the two systems compatible? If they are not directly compatible, what are the steps you are going to take to bridge that gap? And if you haven't thought that through before coming over here, you're wasting your time, your energy, and your money. One of the key benefits we bring to the table with anybody that we work with is basically understanding how to get from where you are now to where you want to be, how to China-fy, if you like, to get yourself ready for China, or China ready, before even spending the time and the money to get over here. Because it's a fantastic experience, it's amazing, don't get me wrong. If you get the opportunity, do it. Even if you aren't ready, I'm actually the kind of guy that wants to get about 60% of the way there, start on the journey, and then figure it out as I go along, kind of build the parachute as I'm jumping off the cliff or out the plane. And although it doesn't always work to get the results that you had hoped for, but it always gets the results available, if that makes any sense. So although I might not, I might go with a plan and come back with a